everyone, it's Sabrina here with another SFF Babbles. This week's chat is about favourite sci-fi and fantasy in other media. Now, while watching this video, you will see I have a common factor in all my favourite other media. It'll become very obvious in a minute. So first up, I'm going to talk about my favourite audio, sci-fi and fantasy based audio, that is, and that would have to be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, and it's the BBC dramatised version that was heard on Radio 4 40 years ago now, and they are 25-minute episodes that tell the story of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Famously, the primary phase, which is like the first book, Douglas has said that he was writing the episode literally the week before the next one was going to be recorded. So what we hear in the primary phase is quite raw in places, but it's very spontaneous. Things happen and they just bounce off each other really well. So there's no sort of plot, as it were. Things do tend to meander as ideas came to Douglas as he was writing them, but it's all the more fun for that. And it's some of the most bizarre stuff I've ever heard in my life, and I love it to pieces. So if you haven't heard the radio version of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you are missing out. It is the original version of the story. The books came just after it, and it is still continuing today. We now have the hexagonal phase, which is based upon On and Another Thing. So that is currently being broadcast as I speak, which is rather cool, on Radio 4. Go and check it out on iPlayer if you can. And I really enjoy The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I just think it's one of those gems in radio dramatisations. It is unlike anything else, and you will never hear anything else like it. So please go listen to it. So a few of my favourite sci-fi and fantasy films. First up, Galaxy Quest. This is a comedy spoof of Star Trek and Star Trek conventions and the whole Star Trek setup. This is a really funny film about what it was like to be in a popular sci-fi TV show, which was then cancelled, and how your life continues after that, and then what happens when a group of aliens thinks that everything you filmed in the TV show actually happened. The Fifth Element is a classic sci-fi film starring Bruce Willis, and it's pretty much my husband's and I's one of our favourite films. But this is a big epic space drama that takes place across a galaxy and involves basically having to save the entire human race from a great evil. And it's really well done, very visually spectacular to watch as well. And then of course, The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the Peter Jackson version, not the animated version, which I really do like, but this is the Peter Jackson version. I've only picked up The Fellowship because, you know, he's done the whole lot. There are 3 versions of it, but I would say if you're going to watch The Lord of the Rings, please go through the extended edition, because there's so much more in there that adds a lot more character, adds a lot more history and drama that's going on. It's well worth that extra hour and a half on your bottom in front of the telly. It really is. But this is just, I think, how to take a well-loved book and present it in a way that everybody can understand. One of the biggest problems Lord of the Rings has, it is a massive tome that people are trying to read. It's heavy in history. It's not the most accessible book to read. It took me 3 attempts to get into it, and I only managed to read it because I saw this film first. It was the only way I could get into it. Visually, it's spot on. Tonally, it is Lord of the Rings. Yes, there are some changes to the story from the book, but for me, I think they work better than what's in the book. And it's just really enjoyable. So if you want a pure epic fantasy, you can't go wrong with The Lord of the Rings. Bring popcorn though. And then there's this little pile that I'm going to show you. I'm going to try and be really quick with these. Some you will know because I have mentioned them previously. Others will be new because I think they need shouting about. So first up, The Expanse series, currently available on Sci-Fi and Netflix over in the UK, waiting for season 3. This is the adaptation of the Expanse books by James S.A. Corey that I keep banging on about. This is a really well done sci-fi drama series involving pretty much every genre you could think of, with engaging characters, a wide cast of characters as well. This is not whitewash future, this is honest future, which is really nice, and it's very realistic. The science in this works and it's very, very good. So if you're looking for a proper sci-fi drama, try this, please try this. Outlander, which is I suppose a historical fantasy with an element of sci-fi in it and every other genre that Diana Gabaldon wants to write about. This tells the tale of Claire, a 1940s nurse who falls through the stones in Scotland and ends up back in 1743, where she gets embroiled in the local politics going on and also being accused of an English spy. Not a good situation, but this is a very good adaptation of a very complex book, a very heavy book again. Again, some liberties are taken with the original story, but again, the whole tone of the book is presented in this adaptation. We currently got 3 seasons released for us, with the 4th one coming out later this year maybe, I don't know, I'm not up on that one yet. They're available on Stars over in America and Amazon Prime for pretty much the rest of us. But if you like historical fantasy with a dose of love thrown in and politics and military, then this is the series for you. It also deals with complex issues and harsh issues, and there are some very disturbing moments in this, so it is not for the faint of heart, I would say. And if you are wary of things about torture and rape, then please go and check out what other people have said about certain episodes in this series to see if you can tolerate them or not, because they're very, very well shot. They're just brutally honest. Another series I bang on about a bit is Firefly, created by Joss Whedon. This is the 13 episodes TV series that Fox completely screwed up when they showed it. If you want a nice, compact science fiction, western drama series, this is the show for you. Like I said, there's only 13 episodes. It all hangs together beautifully. The characters are really well strung out and the actors all get on really well. This is like watching an honest family coming together. They are so good. Each episode is very different, so you will find something that you will like. There are some very, very funny moments in every episode as well, particularly those involving Jane. And if you want sci-fi western, you know, political thriller kind of thing with a bit of horror thrown in as well, give Firefly a go. There is a film that does wrap up some of the plot details that weren't given the chance to wrap up, called Serenity. If you want to watch that, that's very, very satisfying as well. And there is a comic strip that has come from that film as well. So there you are. There's plenty to go and check out there. Farscape is a TV show I used to watch when I was a teenager. It was over on Channel 4 when I saw it, so it was heavily edited, not always shown in the right order, and some episodes were completely thrown out the window as well for their content. This follows John Crichton, who is thrown across the universe purely by accident and ends up on this prison ship where he meets a really weird group of characters and aliens and has no idea what's going on, but it's full of pop culture references, very light-hearted in places, very dark in places, and it's very satisfying to watch. You can sit and quietly binge watch these episodes. Some episodes deal with drug addiction, with slavery, with prejudice, so everything is covered in this series and it's really, really good. There are 5 seasons, I think it's 5 seasons, plus 2 like short mini series as well, which are really hard to get your hands on, but well worth it. It's a really well written, funny show with a lot of heart. The puppetry work in it is amazing as well. Xena Warrior Princess, I'm currently stuck in the middle of season 4 purely because the episode I'm about to watch is the really, really heavy one and really makes me upset and I cry a lot over it, so don't let that put you off though. Xena is a great bit of fun. It's Greek mythology, fantasy, demigods thrown in for good measure. There's a lot of comedy, there's a lot of drama in here. The friendship between Xena and Gabrielle is just amazing. And I used to watch this again as a teenager, so I saw heavily edited versions, and again, not all episodes were shown because it was on Channel 5. So to actually see it all on DVD is just wonderful. And again, it's just one of those shows you just put on and you just watch. Each episode is 45 minutes long, so you're not spending a long time watching an episode, but they're very, very enjoyable. Another short sci-fi show here. This is Defying Gravity. This was cancelled before it was even shown, which is such a shame. It was a co-production between Canada and the BBC. The BBC didn't promote it very well, stuck it away at 11 o'clock at night. I found it by chance and really enjoyed it. This is, again, a very sci-fi factual based tale of travelling to the other planets in our solar system, but there is a reason why this journey is happening, and there's quite a big group of characters to know in here as well, so there is someone for everyone to latch onto and identify with. But it's really clever, really engrossing, and there's such a shame there's not more to this show because it's so good. Well worth it if you can get your hands on it, if you get a copy of the DVD or find it somewhere. People don't seem to have heard about this one, but it's well worth it if you want proper sci-fi drama. Really good. Then there's Chuck. I think there are 5 seasons to this one. This is like sci-fi drama, comedy, thriller, spy show. So if that's your kind of thing, check out Chuck, please. Very, very funny, about the nerd who gets the whole of the FBI's database dumped down in his head. He has no control over this though, so he's sent with a couple of bodyguards to protect him, and he ends up getting involved in solving some of their cases. And it's just really good fun watching this complete nerd develop throughout the show, and the bodyguards learn a bit more about being human because obviously they're spies and they've learned to shut themselves down. But it's very, very funny, very watchable series. And then finally, I want to draw your attention to Pushing Daisies. This is a beautiful little fantasy romance series following the exploits of a pie maker who has discovered that when he touches a dead thing, he can bring it back to life, but only for so long, otherwise something else will drop down dead. So he has to touch it again within 60 seconds. I think that's how it is. But he ends up touching the girl that he had a crush on when she dies, and figuring out how he can keep her alive, because he's not allowed to touch her again because she will drop dead if he does. But obviously there is this blossoming romance between the two of them. He also runs a pie shop. He gets involved in a private detective agency as well. So obviously bringing back murder victims is quite handy to find out who killed them. It's very, very funny, very sweet, very magical, very fantastical to look at. The colours in this are so rich. I wish more people knew about this series because it's so beautiful to watch and to follow. It's one of those shows that just sucks you into its universe. There are only 2 seasons to this, which is such a shame, but it is fantastic. There's some sci-fi and fantasy and other mediums that I like. Yeah, I do have an awful lot of television shows that I really enjoy, but yeah, it's easy to watch something. So there we are. Please let me know down below in the comments, what is your favourite sci-fi or fantasy, either TV, film, audio series. Let me know. I may have it on the shelf, I may not. But I've tried to limit this video to things that I really like and things that other people don't normally talk about. So I wanted to highlight some of those, just so you're aware of what's out there, that actually there's loads of sci-fi and fantasy. You just need to look for it. You need to know what to look for as well. I will leave the link to Kitty G's original sci-fi fantasy Babbles video telling you all about the topics being discussed. You'll find a link to that in the description box down below. And as always, my social media links are down there, as is my book blog. Please come and say hi. That'd be lovely to meet some of you people. And finally, I want to do a small booktuber shout out. I'm going to call out Francine Simone this time. She's not a small booktuber in the strict sense of the word, but she's a booktuber that I think is worth pushing into people's directions, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of her. She does a lot of really good discussion videos, particularly on the whole Booktube community and books that come up within the community for good or bad reasons. And she's very thorough, and she's also a very fair reviewer of books. She always has something good to say about a book, but she will be honest with any flaws that she came across and why she thinks there are flaws. So I do like her videos. They tend to be on the slightly longer side of 10 minutes, so that might not be your cup of tea, but she is certainly worth watching for the discussion videos alone. So I'll leave a link to her channel down below in the description box. Please go and check it out. As always, thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Bye.